DeathTrap, a thriller in 2 acts. One set, 5 characters, a juicy murder in Act 1, unexpected developments in Act 2, sound construction, good dialogue, laughs in all the right places. Highly commercial.
It's wonderful, darling. I'm so happy for you, for both of us.
Happy? Why on earth happy?
But it's yours, isn't it? That idea you had in August.
The idea I had in August has gone the way of the idea I had in June, which has gone the way of the idea I had in, well, whenever it was. In the fireplace, up the chimney, and out over Fairfield County. Pollution in its most grisly form. No, this arrived in the mail today. Property of one Clifford Anderson. He was one of the twerps at the seminar I gave. Dear Mr. Brule, I hope you don't mind me sending you a copy of my play DeathTrap, which I finished typing at 2 o'clock this morning. Since I couldn't have written it without the inspiration of your works or the advice and guidance you gave during the seminar, I felt it only fitting that you should be the first person to read it. If you find it 1/10 as good as any of your thrillers, I shall consider my time at the seminar well spent and the fee more than adequately recompensed.
That's nice.
No, it's not. It's bullshit. Please excuse the carbon copy, but the local Xerox machine is on the fritz, and I couldn't bear the thought of waiting a couple of days for my spiritual child to meet its spiritual father. My italics, here's the ethics. Do call or write once you've read it, and let me know if you think it worthwhile submitting to, etc., etc. Son of a bitch even types well. I remember him grossly obese, a glandular condition, 400 pounds. I wonder where he got the address.
From the university?
Yeah, probably.
Is it really that good? First play?
It can't miss. A gifted director couldn't even hurt it. It'll run for years, and the stock options and amateur rights will feed and clothe a generation of Andersons. It can even be opened up for a movie. George C. Scott or Michael Caine.
I love him.
The damn thing is perfect.
You should think you'd be proud that a student of yours has written a salable play.
For the first time in 11 years of marriage, darling, drop dead. I'm green with envy. I want to take that mace over there and beat him over the head with it and bury his 400-pound body in a 400-pound hole somewhere and send the whole thing off to under my name to David Merrick or Hal Prince or... That's the best idea I've had in ages.
Oh, my poor Sydney.
I mean, what's the point in having a mace if you don't use it once in a while?
Oh, Sydney, you're going to get an idea of your own, and it's going to be a better play than that one.
Don't bet on it. Not that you have any money to bet with.
We're doing very nicely in that department, not one creditor beating at the door.
Yeah, but for how long? I've nearly cleaned you out, haven't I?
We've cleaned me out, and it's been a joy and a delight every bit of the way. Your next play will simply have to be a terrific smash.
Oh, thanks. That's just what I need, an easing of the pressure.
Well, why don't you call it to Merrick's attention? Maybe you could get a commission of some kind,
The finder's fee?
if that's what it's called.
A great and glorious 1%. Maybe 1.5%.
Better yet, why don't you produce it yourself? You've been involved in enough productions to know how to do it, and it might be a beneficial change of pace.
Darling, I may be devious and underhanded enough to be an excellent murderer, but not a Broadway producer. One mustn't overestimate one's talents.
Collaborate with it. Isn't there room for improvement as good as it is? The professional touch, a little reshaping, sharpening.
Ah, that's a possibility.
You'll be thrilled at the chance to work with you.
But we'd split 50-50.
And you get top billing.
Well, naturally. Reverse alphabetical, dear boy. It's done all the time.
On the basis of who you are.
Sydney 4 flops, Brule.
Sydney, author of The Murder Game Brule.
Oh, yeah, the murder game. I remember that one. It's back in the time of King Arthur, wasn't it?
Wasn't quite that long ago.
18 years, love. 18 years, each one passing quicker than the one before. Nothing recedes like success. Ooh, that is a good line. I'll have to put it in somewhere. There's a has-been actor that will be able to say it at some stage. As recedes, it's EDE, isn't it?
Yes. You see, you would improve it.
Yeah, give it the inimitable Sydney Brule touch. Close in Boston.
Call him now. Where does he live?
Up in Milford. So, you don't like the mace?
No, definitely not. Blood on the carpet, and the next day Helge ten Dorp will be picking up psychic vibrations.
From Germany? I don't think so.
Sydney, what were you smoking when the rest of us were smoking grass Friday night? She's taken the McBain pilot for 6 months. Paul Wyman's doing a book with her. He was impersonating her for 15 minutes.
Oh, is that what he was doing? I thought he was just finally coming out of the closet.
You see what a fine murderer you'd be? Helge ten Dorp was practically on our doorstep, and you managed not to hear about it.
That does give one pause.
You certainly should. Nan and Tom Wesson had her for dinner last week, and she told Tom about his backaches, about the money he put into silver, and his father's thing for tall women. And she warned Nan that her au pair girl was going to leave, which she did 2 days later, and she found a set of keys. Nan lost in 1969. They were underneath the clothes dryer.
She's in the McBain cottage?
Right over yonder, picking up our blips on her radar at this minute, most likely.
Well, it seems that Mr. Anderson has got himself a collaborator. Not that I believe in ESP, of course.
Police in Europe seem to. It's half of why she's here. She's supposed to be resting from pointing at murderers.
Wait a minute. The fat one didn't stay the whole week. His name was Quinn or Quincy or something. Anderson. I wonder if he was the one with a frightful stammer.
Easy way to find out.
This could be a 3-hour conversation. Busy. Probably talking to Merrick. What's for dinner?
Salmon.
Again?
Yes. Sydney, you weren't actually kill somebody to have another successful play.
Oh, don't be stupid, darling. Of course I would. Spoken in jest, Miss Tendorp.
It's Mrs. She's divorced.
Well, no wonder. Who could stay married to a woman with ESP? Well, don't fix me with that basilisk stare, whatever a basilisk may be. Wouldn't you like to go to Sardi's again, secure in the knowledge that we wouldn't be seated in the kitchen? Have you any idea how much a play like that would net its author in today's market? It's $2 million, and that's not including the DeathTrap t-shirts. If that's not a motive for murder, I don't know what is. I wish you hadn't told me about her. Oh, here we go. Hello, yes, Clifford Anderson? Ah, Sydney Brule. Not the stammerer. Yes, as a matter of fact, I have. I finished it 15 minutes ago, and I must say, in all sincerity, I think you've got a remarkably promising first draft. Yes, I was just saying to my wife Myra, if you point it up in the right direction and tighten up the lines and give it a few laughs, you'll have something right up there with Sleuth and Murder Game and Dial-M. It has the makings, as we say. Oh, I should think you would. Oh, no, I know that feeling only too well. I thought Murder Game was finished the first time, but then someone with much more experience than me in the theatre took it under his wing and collaborated with me. Improved it no end, I don't mind admitting. George S. Kaufman. Yeah, he wouldn't take credit, even though I urged him to, but he was badly in debt at the time and he didn't want his creditors to know that he was earning royalties. Yeah, but hey, that's just my thoughts. What have other people said? Oh, really? Well, that's very flattering. But surely you've shown it to some people, you know, your friends, your wife, some of the other people at the seminar. No? Oh, complete isolation, that sounds ideal. And all you have to do is check the thermostat and water the plants. I'm surprised you've only done one play. I'd have knocked off 3 or 4 since July. Yeah, oh I am, yes. It's a marvellous thriller. It's all about ESP. It's based on the work of Helga ten Dorp. You know the German psychic? Yeah, she's a neighbour of ours. Yes. It's called The Frowning Wife. Yeah. But that's just a working title. I'll have to think of something much jazzier. I love DeathTrap, by the way. They're the title and the play. And promising first draft. Yes. Oh, far too many to talk about over the phone. Why don't we get together and then we can go through the manuscript scene by scene and I can point out the bits, yeah? I'm free this evening as a matter of interest. You could, drive on over. Huh? Okay, well, you could catch the train, I guess, and gets off at Westport Station and I could come on over and pick you up and, run you over. Yeah. Oh, well, do. Yes, that sounds good. Okay. Yes, I'll hold. He's house sitting for some friends who are in Europe. His car's in for repairs. Unmarried.
Do you think he'll be open to the idea of collaborating?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Was George S. Kaufman still alive when the murder? Yes. Oh, no, that's a bit early. When's the next one? Oh, far too late. Okay, well, 7:29 it is then, and there's 11:00 something from New York that'll get you off back to Milton tonight. Yeah, okay. All right then. Oh, and would you bring the original? The carbon's a little hard for these weary old eyes. Yes. Okay, well, we'll see you at 7:29. Okay. Oh, and Terence, do you mind if I call you Terence? What? Oh, Clifford. Clifford, yes. I may be a little late. I've got a few errands to run, but you just wait for me at the station and I'll be along eventually. You'll recognise me. I'll be driving the navy blue Mercedes. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye. Sounds like the one without any obvious defects.
What errands do you have to run?
Didn't you tell me something about library books, picking them up or dropping them off?
No, I didn't.
I thought you did. His Xerox machine has been fixed, but he thought he'd wait a couple of days in case I have any minor amendments to suggest. No one else has read it. No one even knows he's working on it.
And no one will see you picking him up?
Yes, the thought crossed my mind. I'm so in the habit of committing murder or planning murder on paper.
Why did you ask him to bring the original copy?
Oh, you heard me. The carbon is hard to read. Besides, I don't want him sitting over my shoulder for 2 hours exhaling cheeseburger.
He probably has another carbon copy filed away somewhere.
Yeah, probably. And all his notes and rough drafts. That opening night of my new extravaganza, his grey-haired old mother will come wandering down the aisle escorted by the entire Milford and Westport police. Hello? Oh, hi there, Lottie. Yes. Oh, no, not tonight. No, I've got an idea I'm working on. It's in the embryo stages. Yes. But Myra might. Let me ask her. They're going to see that French thing at Fine Arts too. I could drop you off.
I don't want to see it. Not tonight.
No, Lottie. Myra will pass too. She's a bit under the weather, But you go and enjoy it and give me a full report tomorrow. Okay, goodbye. You don't have to stand guard over me. I only kill when the moon is full.
Why did you lie just now? Why didn't you tell her somebody was coming to see you?
Is it any of her business? Well, I don't know why I lie. Maybe I'm just a liar.
The room was full last night, except for a sliver down near the bottom.
I shall just have to exercise enormous self-control then. And think of the other carbon copy, which almost certainly exists.
If not for that, Sydney, would you? Could you?
Probably not. Probably I'd chicken out, even if he was the tiny one. They say that committing murder on paper siphons off all the hostile impulses. And it could be true. At the same token, though, it opens one up to the real possibility of committing an actual murder. It gives it the sense of the familiarity, the overwhelming possibility. Just like owning a weapon, handling it, opens one up to the idea of committing murder, no matter how slight. But there's an enormous difference between a paper murder and a real one. No, I'm sure Mr. Anderson will return home in the same state of health as when he arrived. Manuscript clutched in his tiny or enormous or perfectly normal hands.
We'll jump at the chance to collaborate with you. And after that, you'll do a play that's all your own.
Yeah, probably. Sooner or later.
Maybe you could do something based on the Tendorp, and not call it the frowning wife.
The smiling wife, yes. A cheerful, up kind of thriller. Yeah. Tell you what, though, there's a possibility in this. You know, an established, brilliant playwright who's going through a tiny dry spell is sent a manuscript from a twerp that he gave a seminar to. It's a possible opening, as long as the manuscript has got commercial possibilities and the playwright has a room full of weapons.
Put it in your notebook.
I will. Shame he's taken the title DeathTrap. Well, it was actually built in 1794, but they were out of nines at the hardware store, so I had to backdate it 10 years.
It's a beautiful house.
The Historical Society had kittens.
Hello?
Clifford Anderson, dear, my wife Myra.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Come in. I was beginning to worry.
Is this the room you work in?
How did you guess?
The typewriter? All those posters? Is that the mace that was used to murder a child?
Yes. Yeah, that's the dagger from the murder game. Careful, it's sharp. We had to substitute a dummy one in for Act 2.
In for the kill.
Yes.
I can't understand why that play didn't run.
Critics pissing on it might be the answer.
The train must have been late, was it?
No, actually. The train was on time. Mr. Brule was late.
Well, I had to stop and get gas, and Frank insisted on fondling with the spark plugs.
Did you know, Gunpoint was the first show I ever saw. I had an aunt that lived in New York. I took a train down one Saturday by myself from Hartford. Another first, actually. She took me to the matinee. I was 12 years old.
If you're trying to depress me, young man, you've made it.
How? Oh, sorry. That's just how I got hooked on thrillers.
Angel Street did it for me. Bella, what have you done with that receipt? Where is it, you wretched creature? I was 15.
It sounds like a disease being passed from generation to generation.
Oh, it is a disease. Thrilleritis malignus. the fevered pursuit of the one set 5-character moneymaker.
Oh, I'm not pursuing money. I mean, not that I wouldn't like to have some, especially if it could get me a place like this to work in, but that's not the reason I wrote DeathTrap.
You are an early case.
It's not a disease. It's a tradition. It's a superbly challenging theatrical framework in which every variation seems to have already been played. Could I conjure up a few new ones? Can I startle an audience that's been on Angel Street, or dial them for murder, or witness the prosecution, even played the murder game?
Oh, marvelous speech. Thank you for leaving me for last.
I was coming to sleuth.
I'm glad I stopped you.
So am I. I guess I'm just a little euphoric about all that's happening.
Oh, as well you might be.
Would you like something to drink?
Sure. Do you have any ginger ale?
Yes. Sydney, scotch?
I might have some ginger ale too.
These aren't all from your plays.
Oh Lord, no, I haven't written that many. No, friends give me them nowadays, and I sort of prowl the antique markets.
There is a disease.
Oh yes, and a terrific excuse to stop working. I found this just the other week. 18th century German.
It's beautiful.
Yes. Well, you'll be pleased to know, keeping my spiritual child safe, lock and key.
I've got the original here.
Oh, thank God. I really should be wearing bifocals, but my doctor said the longer I can hold off without them, the better off I'll be.
It's not in a binder, for the Xeroxing.
Ah, makes no, never mind.
I've got the first draft in here too. There's a scene between Diane and Carlo in Act 1 that I may have been wrong to cut. And the Diane and Richard scene starts sooner, before they even know Carlo is back.
Did you do many drafts?
Just the one. I mean, it's a mess, but it's probably decipherable if you'd like to see those 2 pages.
Yeah, I would, thanks, yes. I had the feeling there was a Diane and Carlo scene that was missing. Before the murder?
Yes, I was afraid the act would go on too long.
What else you got in there?
The outline, which I departed from considerably. I mean, I made it the way you taught us, a page per scene, loose leaf, but then some lines that I jotted down and never got to use.
You threw away the ones you did use as you used them?
Of course.
Same way I would.
It was all in the one envelope, so I just grabbed it. It was a 2-hour walk to the station, so I had to leave as soon as we finished our call.
2 hours?
I'd walk longer than that, it's not a big deal. I'm one writer that's not going to get flabby. I lift weights every morning, actually. I came this close to making the Olympic decathlon.
What? Hold up. Really?
Okay, this close.
I'll be sure not to argue with you. I'm on the Olympic sloth team. Gold medal. Fall asleep in any position. DeathTrap.
DeathTrap.
DeathTrap. And it'll be toasted with more than ginger ale if Sydney's right about it, and I'm sure he is.
I certainly hope so. I toasted it with beer the other night.
Well, we have some, would you rather?
No, this is perfectly fine. Thank you.
Are you planning on staying there the whole evening, dear?
Yes.
Do you think I overdid it a little on the set description? I mean, all the exact locations for all the furniture?
Can't recall anything wrong with it. No, this is perfect. Yeah, it's fine. I must say that. You type beautifully. Electric?
No, I can't see electric typewriters. I mean, if there's a power failure, then you can't work.
Well, that's the whole point in owning one. Nah, the real reason I flaw with electrics, well, with Zenobia at any rate, is you only get one decent carbon. Second is so muddy you can hardly read it. Do you have that problem with it?
Sydney has some wonderful ideas for improving your play, Mr. Anderson.
I'm sure he does, and I'm looking forward to hearing them.
Couldn't you do that in the other room, dear?
There's no good work light.
I seem to recall a blue Paisley chair with a light beside it that's bright enough for the engaging of Bibles on pinheads.
It's too bright, and the chair's too low. I'll be quiet.
Done. This is Clifford's first play, and I am the first person that he has shown it to. I think he would be much more comfortable if we could have this conversation in private. Wouldn't you say so? Don't be embarrassed to say so.
No, actually. I don't mind Mrs. Brule being in here at all. In fact, I quite like it. It makes me feel less as though I've been summoned to the principal's office.
I'm sorry if I awe you.
You do. I mean, all your plays, the things you say. I wouldn't have thought to call my typewriter anything other than Smith Corona.
Well, as long as it answers.
You're welcome to read the play too, if you'd like, Mrs. Brule.
I would.
I'm really curious to know how women will react to Diane's decision. You know, about the gun.
Sydney told me a little at dinner, but he stopped at the surprises. I don't even know who kills whom.
Well, that's good. You shouldn't. That was the trouble with a murderer's child, if you don't mind my saying so. I mean, it was so obvious from the very beginning that Dr. Mannheim was gonna bash poor Teddy. You didn't leave any room for doubt. The audience should be suspicious, yes, but they should never be absolutely certain, should they? Doesn't that tend to diminish the suspense?
You may have a point there. I do wish you told me you wanted Myra to read it, and I'd have said to bring down another carbon. I mean, she could be reading it now while we have our discussion.
I didn't know she'd be interested. Besides, I don't have one.
You don't have another carbon?
I only ever made the one. I figured I'd be Xeroxing the original as soon as I was through.
Yes. Who needs more than one carbon in this age of Xerox?
Well, she can read this one, and then you and I can just pass the pages back and forth.
Wait, I have to think for a minute.
Can sit next to you.
No.
Mr. Anderson, Sydney is bursting with creative ideas about your play. I've never seen him so enthusiastic. He gets plays in the mail very often. Finished plays, ready for production, supposedly. From his agent, from his producers, from aspiring playwrights. And usually he just laughs and sneers and says the most disparaging things you could possibly imagine. I know he would improve your play tremendously. He could turn it into a hit that will run for years and years and make more than enough money for everyone concerned.
Is that what you meant by "I'll be quiet"?
I won't be quiet. I'm going to say something that's been on my mind ever since your phone conversation. It was very wrong of you to expect Sidney to give you the fruit of his years of experience, his hard-won knowledge, without any quid pro quo, as if the seminar were still in session.
No, he offered to give me the help that
And it was very wrong of you to have offered to give it to him. I'm the person in this household whose feet are on the ground, whose eye is on the checkbook. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion, and it's going to come as a shock to you, Sydney. But I want you to give it your grave and thoughtful and earnest consideration. Will you do that? Will you promise to do that for me, Sydney? Set aside the play you're working on. Set aside the play about Helga ten Dorp and how she finds all the murderers and the keys under the clothes dryers. Set it aside and help Mr. Anderson with his play. Collaborate with him. That's what I'm suggesting. That's what I think is the, sensible and thoughtful and rational thing to do in this situation. DeathTrap by Clifford Anderson and Sidney Brule. Unless, of course, Mr. Anderson feels that in deference to your age and reputation, it should be the other way around.
Well, that is a shocker. Set aside the drowning wife.
I thought it was frowning.
Frowning? What sort of name would that be? A drowning wife is what I'm calling it at the moment. It has these women's lib overtones along with the ESP. It's a very timely play.
It'll keep, Sydney. People are always interested in psychics who can point to someone and say, this man murdered that man. Put it aside, please. And do for Mr. Anderson what George S. Kaufman did for you.
Very persuasive argument there, Myra. What do you say?
Oh, I suddenly feel as though I'm very much on the spot.
Well, you are. Myra's put you there. She's put both of us there.
I felt it should be brought up now, before anything happened.
Yes, dear. Quite right. Quite right. Thank you. So, what do you say, Clifford?
Well, I'm overwhelmed, honestly. I mean, honored, truly, and staggered that Sidney Brule would even consider putting aside one of his own works to help me finish mine. I mean, there I was, 12 years old, sitting in that theater, and who would think that now I'm standing here, weighing a chance to work with
We get the gist of that passage.
It's a golden opportunity that I'm sure I ought to seize with both hands.
You should, yes.
But the thing is, it's as if I went to see a doctor, one of the world's leading specialists, and right out of the gate he recommends surgery. Well, I mean, even with respect for his intelligence and his experience, I would want to get a second opinion, wouldn't I? Don't get me wrong, I'm sure your ideas are great, but you're right, Mrs. Brule. It wouldn't be fair for me to hear them now, not without some sort of proper arrangement or understanding. And to be quite honest, without having heard them, I think DeathTrap is quite good as it is. It's not perfect, certainly. I'm sure it could use a bit of fine-tuning, but I don't think it needs surgery. What I ought to do, I think, is Xerox off a couple more copies tomorrow and send them out to those agents you recommended to us. If they too suggest that it's in need of major rewrites, then I'll come crawling back here, begging you to do what Mrs. Brule suggested. And make the arrangement that you had with George S. Kaufman, I guess. I hope I haven't offended you.
No, not at all.
Mr. Anderson, agents, they know about contracts. They don't know.
Myra, don't beg him. He'll sit there thinking he's got the wealth of the Indies over there and we're Mr. and Mrs. Jean Lafitte.
I would never think anything like that. I'm grateful that you're willing to go out of your way to help me with this.
But I'm not really. Now that I've had a chance to think about it, I would never put aside anything as timely and inventive as The Drowning Wife to do wet nurse work on something as speculative as DeathTrap. Oh, sit down, Myra, and stop hyperventilating over there. You're making me nervous. Do as you say. Show it to a few agents. And if you decide major rewrites are in order, give me a call. Who knows? I might have hit a snag. It's happened once or twice.
Okay, well, thank you. I will.
But I wouldn't count on it. I've got the entire play outlined and more than half written. And I'm ready to go with another one straight after. It's on the life of Harry Houdini.
Oh?
Yes, magic is so in nowadays. Look at the success of the magic show. Houdini's always been an idol of mine. These are a pair of his handcuffs.
Sydney.
Relax, dear. Clifford's not the kind of man to steal someone else's idea. You wouldn't do that, would you?
No, of course not.
See? His heart is pure and far from fraud as heaven from earth. We had a disturbing situation a couple of years ago with a plagiaristic playwright who gone to his maker, recalled for repairs. Ever since then, Myra's been alarmed if I so much as tell anyone the language I'm working on. Remarkable craftsman, Houdini. Amazing work. Have a look.
Sydney, please.
Relax, Myra.
Don't. I beg you.
He's an honest young man. Now, will you sit down and stop being so all fired up suspicious? Remarkable workmanship, isn't it?
I mean, they look so old.
Yes, they were made to. And solid and escape-proof.
They certainly seem that way.
Be my guest.
What, you mean put them on?
Yes, that's what I mean when you're holding my $1,200 set of Houdini handcuffs and I say, be my guest. Put them on.
$1,200. Wow. Definitely old. I'm not so sure about these.
Oh, for goodness sake. See?
Can't be that old. Oh, wow.
Now, turn, press, pull. No, not like that. Turn, press, pull. Oh, it's got to be one simple motion.
It's not working.
Worked for me yesterday. Can't say they've not been oiled.
I guess I'm just not Houdini.
Oh, well, that's all right. I've got a key here, somewhere. Oh, stop fussing with them. You're likely to damage them.
Sorry.
Key. Oh, where could you be, oh little silver key?
You know, this could make an excellent thriller. It could. I mean it.
How so?
Well, a young playwright sends his first work off to an older playwright who conducted a seminar that the young playwright attended. Nobody else has read it, and then he goes to visit the older playwright to get some ideas for rewrites. Of course, you'd have to have the Xerox breaking down to explain why there's only the 2 copies. And the play itself would have to be a very good one. The one the young playwright wrote, I mean. And then the older playwright must not have much going on for him at the moment.
A remarkable concatenation of unlikely coincidences, don't you think?
Yes, maybe, but we've almost got it here, haven't we? The only difference is that you've got the drowning wife from the Houdini play, and DeathTrap almost certainly isn't worth killing over. I'll bet nobody even saw me getting into your car.
Yes, well, you've licked the second play problem, haven't you?
I think it could be turned into something fairly interesting. What do you think, Mrs. Rule?
I don't like it.
I wonder if it could be over here somewhere.
You know, I'm expecting a call soon. Yeah, there's this girl coming to see me at about 8:30, and that's close to what time it is now, isn't it? I couldn't get a hold of her before I left, so I left a note for her on the hall mirror, telling her where I am and giving her the phone number, so that she can call me. Here, so she can see what train I'm taking back, so she can pick me up from the station. See, 1 2-hour walk per day is more than enough for me, so you might want to find that key soon, or you'll be holding the phone for me.
How does she get in to read the note?
She's got a key.
You're not a very conscientious house sitter, are you?
She's honest.
I thought you told me you didn't know anyone in Milton except for a few tradespeople.
Well, she's from Hartford. Her name is Marietta Klonowski. She teaches at Quirk Middle School. Phys Ed.
And how did you get the phone number? It's not listed.
From the university. I'm friendly with Mrs. Beecham there.
Beecham?
You know, the short, red-haired lady with all the eye shade.
And what number did she give you? It's not listed.
I don't remember it, sorry.
Was it 226-3049 or 226-5457?
I don't. The first one, 3049 or whatever.
The new number. I must have told the old university after all and plain forgot. How unlike me, and how unusual.
Can you get to finding the key, please?
Certainly.
Thanks.
My heart won't take it.
Take what, dear? Me finding the key? I thought you two thought I was going to grab the mace there and do a Dr. Mannheim on him. Is that why you retreated so far upstage?
One can't write a play like that and not have a mind that envisions possibilities.
Yes, I'm slightly paranoid myself. What's your excuse, O loyal and devoted wife? 11 years of marriage and she thinks I'm capable of a flesh and blood murder. There's a lesson there for you, Clifford. Come, uncuff yourself. DeathTrap is promising, but it's not that promising.
I suppose I'm glad it isn't.
No, I think your best invention of the evening was Marietta Klonowski. I applaud you.
Thank you.
I can almost see the sweat on her forearms after the basketball game. Mrs. Beecham's eye shade, though, I thought was a bit too much.
See, I thought it was the kind of convincing detail you'd taught us to try for. Hey, are you sure this is the right key?
Ye gods, Houdini opened that in a milk can under 10 foot of water. Are you telling me that you can't...
No! Sidney! Stop!
Right on the rug. 1 point for neatness. Your heart seems to have taken it. We'll give it a rest when we get to the Riviera, just after opening. And we'll get a new housekeeper. That'll give you some rest. And we'll get a new car. Goddamn rolls this
We're
time.
going to be in prison.
Oh, I don't see how. A young would-be writer sort of walks away from his house-sitting job. Police won't even bother to yawn.
Leaving his clothes and his typewriter.
Well, why not? Who can tell with these young people nowadays? Especially the would-be writers. Maybe he realised he wouldn't be. Went off to study ecology or joined the Reverend Youngsung Moon. Maybe his place got broken into and his typewriter got stolen.
What are you going to do with him?
I'll bury him. Behind the garage. No. In the vegetable patch. Easier digging. I'll take a brandy or something. I'm going to be a winner again. All our friends are going to see you living off my money. Picture their confusion. Full moon, all right? Hopefully this doesn't become a monthly occurrence. Well, can you give me a hand, please, Myra? Oh, it's been done! I don't see the point in me getting a hernia. Thank God he wasn't the fat one. I'll have a double. Got a bit of a chill out there. Along with some incipient blisters, aching forearms, and devils poking what I believe are pitchforks into my lumbago. In Murderous Child, I had Dr. Mannheim bury Teddy in 45 minutes. In future, I'll know better. Well, we're out one rug, but I saw some in the Yield House the other week. I have the feeling you're going to give a speech. Would you mind if I go and pour my own brandy and sit down first?
I intended to. I've learned something in 11 years of melodrama.
Good girl. Go.
I'd be very happy living on your money, but I don't relish the thought of living on his. I tried to understand how you could do it, bearing in mind your disappointments and embarrassment in our financial situation, but I can't. How will you be able to feel like a winner when we both know it's his play? I can't understand that either. You're alien to me, Sydney. And it can't be just since 5 o'clock this afternoon. You must have always been very different from the person I thought you were. I don't think the police are going to be quite as unconcerned as you do, so I don't want anything to happen that might look suspicious if they come to question us, but what I want...
Why would they? He disappeared from Milford. This is Westport.
Check into his past associations. He must have gotten your address from the university, even if he did lie about the phone number.
Oh, so if they do come, I'll just say he wrote me a letter. A twerpy little letter seeking advice. And I answered it, or threw it away, or something.
In a month or so, we haven't been arrested, I want you to leave. We can have a few arguments in people's living rooms. You can write them for us. Little tiffs about money or something, and then you'll move out. I wish you could take the vegetable patch with you. But since you can't, you'll buy it from me as soon as the money starts rolling in, before the Rolls Royce and before you go to the Riviera. You'll buy the vegetable patch and the house and the whole 9.3 acres. We'll get Buck Raymond or Maury Usher to set a fair price.
Darling, you've had a shocking...
No, get away from me.
You've had a shocking and painful experience, but so have I. I'm absolutely petrified that the police will come and arrest me, and guilt-ridden that I was insane enough to do it in the first place. I'm going to give half the money away to the New Dramatists League, I swear I am. But this isn't the time to be talking about this. In a few days, when it's gone by and we're ourselves again, things will look much cheerier.
You are yourself right now, and so am I. In a few days, go ahead. Tell him that he wrote me a twerpy letter, officer.
It'd be Lottie and Ralph come to yammer about that French movie.
It's probably Helga Tendor.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. It's Lottie and Ralph, damn them. Look, I'm going to have to let them in. You can't face them, but why don't you go upstairs?
No, I'll stay right here and let you worry that I'll fall apart.
Oh, coming, damn it! Who is it?
I am your neighbor in House of McBain. Please, will you let me come in? It's most urgent I speak with you. I got the information, but the lady will not tell me your number. Please, will you let me come in? I am friend of Paul Wyman. It's most urgent.
Come in! Yes!
Oh, I apologize for so late I am coming, but you will understand when I make the explaining. Oh, yeah, it's the room I see, with the beams and the windows. Oh, and the pain, 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 pain. Oh, pain, pain, pain.
Neither of us are up to snuff tonight.
Ah! Just as I see them! Why you keep such paint-covered things?
Well, they're antiques and souvenirs from plays. I'm a playwright.
Yeah, Sidney Baru. Paul Wyman tells me. We made together the book.
And my wife, Myra.
How do you do?
What pains you, dear lady?
Nothing. I'm fine, really.
No. Something you see gives you pain. Paul tells you of me? I am Helga Tendor. I am psychic.
Yes, he did tell you, and we wanted to chat to you about...
4 hours now, since the 8:30, then begins the Merv Griffin show. I am on it. Next week you will watch?
Yes, make a note of that, Myra.
Thursday night. Also the amazing Kreskin. What they want him for, I do not know. I call the information. I say, please, you must give me number. But the lady will not tell me. I call Paul Wyman, but he is not at home. He is in the place with the red walls eating with the chopsticks. I call the information again. I say, it is most urgent. You must give me number. I am Helga Tendor. I am psychic. She say, oh, guess number. I tried, but I only see the 226. which is everybody, yeah? So I come here now because the pain, it gets worse. And more than pain.
More than pain?
There is something else here. Something frightening. No, it will interfere.
What will?
The drink you would offer me? Never drink. Must keep head unclouded. Only when images become too many, then I get drunk. Was used many times by beautiful dark-haired actress, but only pretending.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's my knife from the murder game. It was used every night by a beautiful dark-haired actress.
Will be used again by another woman, but not in play. Because of play. Because of play, another woman uses this knife. You should put away these things.
Oh, I was going to in a month or so. I sell a lot of them. Tired of them.
Maybe too late. I do not enjoy to give people unhappy news. But I must speak when I see something, yeah?
I don't see how, and you could keep quiet. I mean, you're supposed to be here relaxing, not in your own country, after all.
Must speak. Is why God gives gift. Is danger here. Much danger. To you, and to you. Is danger in this room. Death in this room. Something that invites death. That carries death. Death trap. Death trap is word in English, yeah?
Yes.
It's the name of the play I've been working on. That's where you got it from. There's a death in the play. I'm sure that's what you're responding to. I've been working on it here at the desk.
Maybe, but it feels like a real death.
Yeah, well, I tried to be convincing and act everything out as I typed it.
Man in boots. Young man. Here in this room. He attacks you.
He attacks me.
With one of those. Comes as friend to help you, to work with you, but attacks.
Well, we'll certainly be on the lookout for a young man in boots. We're going to go Japanese from now on, dear. Shoes off at the door.
He sits in this chair and he talks of Diane.
This is Diane in the play.
And two other people, Smith and Colonna. No, wait, one person, Smith Colonna. Is blue? Is small blue man in play Smith Colonna?
Nah, never heard that name before.
It's a very confusing image.
Well, I must say that's the most remarkable demonstration, isn't it, dear? And the way you came up with the dagger and DeathTrap and Diane. Really super awesome.
But remember what I tell you. Another woman uses that knife. And the man in boots attacks you. Of these two things I am certain. All else is confusion. It's gone now, nothing else comes.
Well, I just must say I was skeptical about ESP, but you've convinced me it's genuine.
Oh yes, he is genuine, and sometimes not a happy gift to be owner of.
Have you always had it?
Oh yes, my lady. Ever since I was a child, never could I enjoy a game of hide and go seek. It was too easy, you see. And parents never wrap Christmas presents in 5-days paper. Later in my teenagers, walking with boys. Oh, such images.
Are you sure you wouldn't like that drink now? I'd really like to.
No. I must be getting back to house. You will come and have dinner with me. I will tell you all my life. Would make a very good play. Then, child, you are living in big house with yellow shutters, yeah?
Yes. That's right.
Always when the moon is full, I am in top form. Good night, dear lady.
Good night.
Be careful. You also.
Yes, we will. No boots allowed.
Good night. Remember, Thursday night. The Merv Griffin show.
Good night. Well, that's the best she can do. We've got nothing to be worried about.
You know, afraid of the danger she saw?
Not especially.
We're going to be arrested.
I don't see how. I mean, if she does involve the police and they do want to get her into it as well, she'll have them combing the whole tri-state area for a small blue man with 2 spools of ribbon, one here, going through his mouth.
She saw him sitting right there. She heard him speaking.
Yeah, but she got the main point backwards. You'll see. It'll all be fine. I'll boil like a rot tomorrow morning or throw it in the garbage bin or something, and that'll be the end of it. In a couple of weeks, this'll all be behind us. I couldn't help myself, Mara. I saw that play going out into the world tomorrow, and him sitting here so young and so lucky. Don't be so quick to throw the old boy out here. And please, I beg of you, don't use that knife. Another of her confused images. Who would have thought, after 18 years, Tanya's aura still permeates it?
Put it away.
Oh, I will. Exit dagger! Into desk.
Part of me was hoping that you would do it. At the same time, I was terrified that you would. Part of me was hoping. I saw the money too. And your name.
You tried to stop me. You did your best. It was my doing and mine alone. There could be absolutely no doubt about that. You only helped me because I asked you to, and because you were too stunned and too in the habit of helping me to refuse. If anything goes wrong, there can be absolutely no possible doubt about that point. But nothing will go wrong. In a couple of weeks, you'll see the headlines. Leading producer options, new Sydney Brule thriller. Playwrights admit ending. Let's lock up. I wonder, could murder be an aphrodisiac? What a blow that would be to the importers of ginseng root, not to mention the Department of Health, Welfare and Education.
No, please. He couldn't help himself. I tried. Stop!
She's dead. I'm positive. It worked.
Well, why couldn't she's had much heart attacks over much smaller things. I've got news for you. Styrofoam hurts. You use that a lot harder than you did in the motel.
Call it the added adrenaline of actual performance. Besides, you didn't make the strangling a jolly experience. How about that Helga Tendorf? I almost had a heart attack myself out there.
Yeah, same here.
It's just spooky the way she saw I was going to attack you.
Yes, even though she got it a bit backwards, she thought it was with one of those weapons.
It must have been the grok getting mixed in.
Yeah, it's confusing image. Side of your nose. It's a good thing she did come around though. She'll now be outside telling everyone that she felt the pain of the impending heart attack. Every little bit helps. I've been telling people that Myra's been under weather for days. Not that we needed any more evidence.
I should go get my things.
Oh, no rush. No rush. I'm not going to call the doctor for a few minutes yet. We don't want them undertaking any miracles of resuscitation, do we?
What if Helga Tendorf comes back?
Why would she? The pain has gone.
I guess so. I hadn't thought about that.
Oh, don't move around so much. You're shedding dirt. Bet you were glad to hear the exit dagger line.
What was that for my benefit?
Of course! If she hadn't mentioned it, I'd have said it myself. I was worried that the predictions might have scared you and you'd have gone herring off into the woods, leaving me with a live wife and an imaginary corpse and no surefire smash hit thriller to justify the one to the other.
I would never have done that.
Wow, better safe than sorry. Don't know if there's enough time to burn it all now.
Why burn them at all? They're just old manuscripts.
True. We could cut them up and use the backs for scrap. Oh, but that's chintzy. No, if someone should come, I'll say that I was cleaning up when the Grim Reaper struck.
But the closer you stay to the truth, the better off you'll be.
Ah, you're a fan of homey wisdom there, Cliffy boy. Farewell, DeathTrap. Would you were the genuine article?
Ooh. We can put my desk right about here.
Nah, no, I've got a surprise for you.
Let me guess. I'm gonna go work in the maid's room.
Oh, would I do that to you? No, you're going to be working in the handsomely converted stable as promised.
Okay, so what's the surprise?
Well, you'll see after the burial. I hope you don't mind, though, that Zenobia will be tearing along at full speed. I really do want to do something on ESP. That was a remarkable demonstration she gave, despite the mistakes.
That's fine. I'm ready to get to work too.
Oh, the thing you were doing at the seminar?
No, actually. I've got a better idea. It hit me last week while I was cleaning out my desk. I realized there might be a play there too, in a typical urban welfare office.
A thriller?
No. I think I've begun to lose my interest in thrillers. I want to try my hand at something more honest, more relevant.
Even though you said those words, I'll let you stay here. Go get your things, I'll call the doctor.
Right.
Is he there? Yes, it's Sidney Brule. Oh, my wife's just had a heart attack. Oh no, I'm afraid there's no use in that. Have him call me right away. Thank you.
I decided to leave the weights for tomorrow, and the typewriter.
Oh yeah, Mr. Kelowna.
That was a little funny, wasn't it?
Yes.
Is he on his way?
No. Answering service.
Wouldn't you know? Well, I guess I'll see you later. Any idea how long it'll be?
Nah. They may even want me to accompany the body, so, you know, a couple of hours at least, I guess.
Alright, well, ciao.
Ciao. Oh, Claire. The floorboards upstairs creak badly, so give yourself a quick wash, get into bed, and stay there.
Yeah, alright. I'll buy that.
Yes? No, it's nothing. It was a bad one. Yeah. I gave her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation for 10 to 15 minutes, but got nowhere. She's been under the weather for days. She tried to... It must have been quite a welfare office.
It was. Everyone there had their own poignant story. They're telling this play of their own accord.
No notes, no outline?
No need. This isn't a thriller, Sydney. It's not dependent on contrived theatrics or intricate plotting. These are real people. All I'm doing is bringing them up and letting them spill out their dreams and frustrations, their angers at the bureaucracy.
Joseph Papp will have a messenger at the door any minute.
You know, I was thinking of him as a possible producer. Do you know him?
Oh, slightly. Here, give us a look at a few pages, would you?
Sure, if you want. But I would really rather wait until the first draft is done, and then I can hand you the whole thing in one glorious bundle. Would you mind?
Oh, not at all. What's another hour or so?
It's looking to be more like 3 or 4 weeks at this rate.
You'll have a trilogy if you keep going at that speed.
What is nothing doing?
I'm thinking.
Why not invite her over? Tendor. I mean, maybe talking with her will spark something.
Do you think we could risk having her on the premises?
As long as it's not a full moon, I don't see why not. Look at the eggs she laid on the Merv Griffin show.
Well, yeah, she did get rattled by the amazing Kreskin when he explored all about her husbands in such great detail.
Oh, Belle Forrester called. She wanted to know if she could make you a casserole or come sew a button or something. I told her that you were managing just fine.
Don't. We don't want to interrupt the flow, do we? Oh, Porter! Come on in! Nice to see you.
How are you, Sydney?
Oh, I'm doing fairly well. Not up in the city?
No, there are a few things I want to talk to you about, if I'm not disturbing you, but then I have to be in New Haven by noon. The secretary?
Yes!
My, what a fast typist.
Yes, he is, isn't he? Come meet him. Clifford! Clifford Anderson, my friend Porter Milgram.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I would say my attorney, but he'd then bill me.
I'm going to anyway. This is a business call, partly at least.
Clifford was at the seminar I gave last summer, and he asked me then about a secretarial position, and when Myra passed on, I gave him realised I couldn't do things all by myself, so I gave him a call, and next day here he was.
Have typewriter will travel.
That was very good of you.
It's an honor to be of help to someone like Mr. Brule.
Oh, look at that. Oh, isn't this a beauty?
Partner's desk.
Oh, where did you find it?
Oh, up in Milton the other week. easier than getting, 2 desks cluttering up the room.
Cost a pretty penny, I'll bet.
Deductible.
Yes, they can hardly quibble about a writer's desk now, can they? Wait till Elizabeth sees this.
Oh, how is she?
Oh, fine.
Yeah, and the girls?
Couldn't be better. Kathy loves Vassar.
Yeah, vice versa, I'm sure. Do sit down.
Should I go get the groceries now? That way you and Mr. Milgram can speak in private.
Would you mind?
Gotta do it sometime before dinner. I might as well now.
Okay, I'll just be a minute, Porter.
Take your time. I haven't started the clock yet. Oh, I love this room.
Isn't it nice? It really is a pleasure working here.
He's looking well.
Yes, he's doing much better recently. I mean, the first week was abysmal. He cried every night. I could hear him plainly. He was drinking heavily.
Ah,
But he'll pull through. The work is a great solace to him.
I'm sure it must be. I've always envied my writer clients on that account. I tried to play once,
Really.
about the Supreme Court Justice I most admire. But even the title was a problem. Frankfurter?
Is 20 enough?
It's too much. We only need salad things and milk. I'm just going to Gibson's.
Oh, get some yogurt while you're there, would you? Anything but prune.
Okay. You're not parked in the driveway, are you?
No, I pulled over on the side.
Okay, well, pleasure meeting you, or see you later, whichever it turns out to be.
I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again. Pleasant young fellow. Good looking, too.
Yes. Do you think he's gay? Yeah, homosexual?
I know what gay means, Sydney. Elizabeth told me a long time ago. No, he didn't strike me that way.
Huh. I kind of thought he was, but... Well, as long as he does his work, it's really none of my business.
In essence, he is a domestic employee, and under such circumstances, his sexual preference might be a legitimate matter of concern.
I wasn't asking for a legal opinion, I was just saying it's none of my business.
Oh, well, in that case, no, it isn't.
And besides, people would talk if I got a female secretary.
Only if she was under 80.
Yes. So I called Clifford.
It's good to see you looking so well. That's the reason why I've come. I was delegated by Elizabeth and the Wessons and the Harveys. That young man has been turning away all callers, and we were beginning to be afraid that you might be in worse shape than he was letting on, but that's obviously not the case.
Oh, look, I'm not up to socialising yet, but I'll pull through. Yeah, the work has been a great solace.
Oh, what are you on to now?
Oh, it's an amazing play about ESP. Yeah, Helga ten Dorps and the McBain Cottage.
Yes, I do. Is it true when everyone's sick? I'm sorry. Do you mind talking about this?
No, not at all.
Is it true that she actually pointed to the spot on the floor where Myra was going to fall?
No. Nothing like that. All she did was she came in and she said, "There is pain. There is great pain in this lady's chest." And Myra said, "Well, a slight pain." And she said, "Yes, well, with your history, you should go and see a doctor," which is what I've been telling Myra to do for ages.
It's uncanny being able to sense things like that. I would think you'd be able to write a fine thriller on the subject.
Ha. It's coming along. Uh-oh. Business time.
Yes. The first item on the agenda is your will. Now that Myra's gone, you ought to take a look at it. If anything should happen to you, as it stands, your cousins in Vancouver would inherit. Do you want to leave it that way?
I don't know. I'm really going to have to think about that.
Do. Don't put it off. And this, yes, this is the second item. Now, this is only approximate because I don't have up-to-date appraisals on the real estate yet, but that's roughly what you can anticipate, give or take a few $1,000s.
Wow. I had no idea there was this much.
Then Myra must have been keeping a few secrets. She knew. Her records are in apple pie order.
So, how much of this is the government going to grab?
Not too much, really. The first $250,000 is exempt from federal tax, and the state tax, which starts at $50,000, is only a few percent. There is one more point, Sydney. I spoke to Maury Escher at the planning board meeting last night, and he said you talked to him about selling a few acres.
Yeah, I don't think I will any now.
Well, you can't. Not yet, anyway. You have to wait for the will to go through probate.
Oh yeah, I know that, but I was just asking him if he, had an indication what he thought I might get for it.
Oh, well then he was jumping the gun, not you. I just wanted to make sure you were clear on the point. End of business. You've gotten off cheap.
Yes, I'm lucky.
So what's the procedure? You dictate, he types?
Oh, no. I do my own typing. He'll do the final copy, of course, and he does letters.
Is that what he was working on before?
Oh,
Letters?
no, it's a play of his own.
Oh, the seminar, of course.
Yeah, he started it yesterday. He'll probably finish it tomorrow.
I hope he's not trying to steal your ESP idea. Have you discussed that with him?
What made you say that?
He locked what he was working on in the drawer, unobtrusively, but I noticed. Of course, maybe he's afraid you'll steal his idea.
Hardly. Life in a welfare office. The dreams and aspirations of half a dozen people you'd really rather not spend your time with.
He's worked in a welfare office.
Yes, that's where he was before he came.
Oh, well, maybe it's just force of habit then. People who work in large offices often lock their desks.
Unobtrusively? I'd have thought it was quite the opposite. Hey everybody, look at me. I'm locking my desk.
It might just be his way of doing things. Look, I'm sorry if I've worried you, the suspicious legal mind. Probably he's exactly what he seems to be. An honest, helpful young man, completely trustworthy.
Probably.
Well, I should get going if I'm going to be in New Haven on time. Trustees luncheon at the old Eli.
Oh!
Thank you. Has the check from the insurance company come yet?
Oh, no, not yet.
I'll write them a letter first thing in the morning.
Thanks.
Will you come have dinner with us?
Oh, in a couple of weeks, I think I'll be ready to, do that sort of stuff.
Good enough. Take care.
I will. Thanks for coming. Give my love to Elizabeth.
Oh, I will.
And the girls. Come on, you bastard. Goddamned old wall craftsman. Jesus Christmas. Oh, that was quick.
I only went to Gibson's.
Let me.
That's all right. I don't mind.
No, you shopped. I'll put away. Get back to the welfare office.
God forbid. I'm putting the change in the bowl. The avocado is supposed to be organic. Whatever that means.
Slave, can you come here a minute? those Olympic fingers of yours.
Really? Beer? Now?
Got a sudden mad craving, as they say in the commercials.
You can use an opener on these, you know.
Really?
Doesn't it say so?
Who the hell can read that? Roaches? So, lost your appetite for thrillers, have you? No taste for the intricate plots and the glib superficial characters?
That's right.
Want to try something more realistic, socially relevant?
Oh, will you cut it out? Your idea will start coming.
Possibly.
Look, don't try to bug me for it. It'll come.
DeathTrap, a thriller in 2 acts. Characters Julian Crane, Doris Crane, Willard Peterson, Inga Van Kronk. The action takes place in Julian Crane's study in the Crane home in Westport, Connecticut.
You have one hell of a nerve,
Setting! Julian Crane's study is a handsomely converted stable grafted onto an authentic colonial house. An archway upstage centre opens into a foyer, in which is the front door, the entrances to the living room and the kitchen, and the stairway to the 2nd floor. French doors, centre stage right, open out to a shrubbery-lined patio. Downstage, right, is an authentic-looking fireplace, practical to the extent that paper can be burned in it. The room's furnishings are tastefully chosen antiques, a few chairs and occasional pieces, and a buffet upstage centre with bottles and decanters. And the focus of the room, Julian's desk. You remember Julian's desk, don't you? The one he worked at before crazy Willard Peterson came into his home. Lined draperies hang at the French doors. The room is decorated with theatrical posters, unlike these which are window cards and not posters, and a collection of guns, handcuffs, maces, broadswords and daggers, several of which I'm going to use any minute now.
That's it? You're not gonna act out all 11 pages? Would you like me to explain?
What's there to explain? You're a lunatic with a death wish! Freud covered it thoroughly.
I have exactly the same wish you do. A success wish.
This is going to give you success?
It hit me that night. Remember that extra little speech I added in while you were looking for the key? It really could be a terrific thriller, I meant it.
In which someone like me and someone like you give someone like Myra a fatal heart attack?
Yes, at the end of Act 1.
And what, pray tell, is your definition of success? Being gangbanged in the shower room of the state penitentiary?
I knew you would have reservations about it. That's why my first instinct was to tell you that it wasn't even a thriller. I haven't enjoyed putting you on, Sydney. I'm glad it's out in the open.
You knew I would have reservations.
Well, you do, don't you?
The House Madman has written a play that's going to send both of us to prison!
It won't!
I'm standing here, petrified, terrified, horrified, stupefied, cramping in my pants, and you call that having reservations? I'm not going to kill you with one of those things. I'm going to beat you to death with Roger's thesaurus.
Nobody can prove what did or did not cause Myra's heart attack. Look, if I could change things, I would. But I can't. It has to be a playwright. I mean, who else could pretend to receive a finished work that could make them a ton of money?
Oh, I don't know, a novelist, a composer? Why am I having this discussion?
What, a surefire smash hit symphony? No! And would a novelist or a composer know where to get a garrote that squirts blood, or how to stage a convincing murder? And it has to be a playwright who writes thrillers, because Arthur Miller probably has old sample cases hanging up on his wall. I guess I could make it Wilton instead of Westport.
Why make it anywhere? Why make it?
It's there, Sydney!
Oh, that's mountains, not plays. Plays aren't there until some arsehole writes them.
Just stop and think for a minute, will you? Think. Think about that night. Try to see it all from an audience's perspective. Everything we did to convince Myra she was seeing a real murder would have exactly the same effect on them. I mean, weren't we giving a performance? Didn't we write it, rehearse it? Wasn't she our audience? Scene 1. Julian tells Doris about this fantastic play he's received in the mail. He jokes about killing for it. And then he invites Willard over, getting him to bring the original copy. The audience thinks the same thing Doris thinks. Julian might kill Willard. Scene 2. Literally everything that happened from the moment we came in through that door. All the little ups and downs we put in there to make it ring true. The I'm expecting a phone call bit. Everything. Tightened up a little, naturally. And then the strangling, which scares the audience as much as it does Doris.
No wonder you didn't need an outline.
It's all up here, Sydney. Every bit of it. Scene 3. Inga Van Kronk. Good comic character, a few laughs. Couldn't hurt, right? Julian and Doris begin winding down for bed. The act begins to come to a so-so close. And then, pow! In comes Willard, out of the grave and seeking vengeance. Shock, surprise. Doris has her heart attack. Julian gets up from the fake beating, and the audience realizes that Julian and Willard were in cahoots. That there is no surefire thriller, but that Willard is moving in. The curtain would be Julian burning the manuscripts, or calling the doctor. I haven't decided yet, but tell me honestly, isn't that a surefire first act?
Oh, yes. And what an intermission. 20 years to life.
No one can prove it really happened. They can't. How could they?
And what are you going to say to the man from the Times who says, didn't you used to work for Sidney Brule, and didn't his wife had a fatal heart attack when you started working there?
No comment.
Oh, my God.
Look, I know it's going to be a little sticky, but everybody's opening up about everything these days. In print, on TV. Why not on stage? As long as it can't be proved. I've put some serious thought into this, Sydney. I really believe that it could give the play an added dimension of intrigue and gossip.
Oh, yes, I'm sure it would. I can just see the little box in the New York magazine now. Tongues are wagging over intriguing similarities in the new play DeathTrap and the lives of its author, Clifford Anderson, and his employer, Sidney Brule, who committed suicide on opening night. When questioned, Mr. Anderson said, no comment. Well, I have a comment, Cliff. No. Absolutely, definitely no. I have a name and a reputation. A little bit tattered maybe, but still good for seasonal tickets and lunch seats and the giving of summer seminars. I want to be known as the author of The Murder Game, not fag who knocked off his wife. Why look? An authentic looking fireplace. Let's see if it's practical enough that paper can be burnt in it.
Don't you dare! You burn that, and I'll go out there and write it somewhere else. I'll get a house-sitting job. Give it to me, Sydney. Give it! I helped you kill. For the chance to become what I want to be. You are not going to take that from me. I had hoped that when I showed you the finished draft, you would be impressed enough to get over your angel straight up tightness and pitch in. I guess we can forget about that.
A collaboration?
It was mostly your idea, wasn't it? I'm not pretending it's all my baby. Look, I know that Act 1 is coming out a little heavy-handed and stilted, but I was hoping that we could figure it out together, that we could be a team. Brolin and Anderson.
Rogers and Heartless.
There. You see? I wouldn't have come up with that myself.
I'm sorry, I just don't want to collaborate on my public humiliation.
Next season's biggest hit. Don't say I didn't ask. Besides, I should probably consider moving out soon anyway.
Why?
Maybe when Helga ten Dorp said that bit about a woman using the knife because of the play, she wasn't that far off base.
Oh, don't be silly, Cliff. I love you. I wouldn't dream of hurting you. Besides, you'd wring my neck.
You're goddamn right I would.
So, don't have any of this silly talk about moving out.
I'm not going to be comfortable with you being unhappy about this.
I'll whistle a lot. Maybe I am being a little bit old and uptight about it.
You are. These days, God, who cares about anything?
I really could use half the royalties of a smash hit.
I think there's a movie in it too.
Porter told me the financials of Myra's estate is even worse than I thought. $22,000, half of which will go in taxes. I can't even sell the house and land till the will goes through probate, and that's going to be 5 to 7 years. Insurance money's not going to be that much.
The offer's still open. It's pretty neat, the way you managed it.
Yes, I tried breaking in. Damn thing's a fortress. Porter saw you locking it up and was afraid that you were doing a play on ESP.
I thought I was being so inconspicuous.
He's sharp. Dull, but sharp. Oh, I'll do it. What the hell? I'll lunge all the way to the bank.
Wait, really? You will?
Brule and Anderson.
Great! Oh, God, thank me, Clifford Anderson, finally collaborating with the great Sidney Brule.
That bit's in Act 1.
Yeah. Well, okay, but Act 2 is going to be a bit of a problem.
How so?
Well, we've got a murder in Act 1. I mean, 2 in fact. Act 2 is just liable to be a bit of a letdown.
Not necessarily.
Oh, we'll add in a detective, of course, the 5th character. I'm thinking a Connecticut version, the one from Dial M.
Inspector Hubbard.
That's right. And we'll bring back Inga Van Kronk. A good comic character like her would be a waste not to get the most of her.
You go on drafting Act 1. Let me do some thinking about Act 2.
Come in. Mr. Bull isn't here right now.
I come to the woods. It's less far to walk.
He should be back soon.
You are?
Clifford Anderson, his secretary.
I am Helga Tendor. I am psychic.
I know. I've heard quite a lot about you. Mr. Brule has told me. If I understand correctly, you predicted his wife's death.
Oh, yeah. So much pain. Very sad. Such a nice lady. Like this room. Mr. Brule, he's well.
Yes, he actually went out to dinner. First time since. Well, he said he'd be back by 10, and it's about 1:15 now, so he should be back any minute.
Will be big storm tonight. Much wind and rain. Thunder and lightning. Trees will fall.
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah, but on the radio. I come to borrow candles. I'm not in house. You have?
I don't know. I haven't noticed any, but I'm sure we've got some somewhere. Let me see if I can find them.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
You wear boots.
Yeah. I mean, everybody does these days. They're quite comfortable.
Oh, you have for a long time been secretary to Mr. Brule.
No, actually, I started not long after Mrs. Brule died.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go find those candles now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, what a bore that was.
Oh, Mr. Brule. Madame Tendorf is here.
Oh. Hello.
Oh, Mr. Brule. Oh, good evening.
Good evening, yes. Did you get my note?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I got yours, thanks. It was most welcome. The flowers were lovely.
Do we have any candles? She said there's a big storm coming up and wanted to borrow a couple.
Myra kept them over the refrigerator. Or in the landing. It's a small little cardboard box.
Right.
I saw you on the Merv Griffin show the other week. It wasn't very pleasant.
Mr. Brule, it's he. It's man I warn you of many brutes who attacks you.
Oh my God. In all the turmoil of Myra's death, I completely forgot about the warning.
Oh, is he? Oh, candles are not why I come. Oh, I have many candles. But tonight, I am feeling danger here again. Oh, much danger. You should not have him here.
Well, I made up my mind to give him his notice to dismiss him tonight, as a matter of fact. I just actually asked my lawyer, and he said he was going to draft up some paperwork.
Is his?
Yeah, yes.
But naturally. Smith Corona. Not Smith Corona. It's what I see confusing word queerty and the name of a small blue man. You must send away this man tonight.
Well, I will. I'll give him his notice anyway. Are you sure you saw him attacking me?
Was image like TV so sharp.
Come in, Clifford.
Thank you. I take two.
Take more if you want.
No. Two are enough. I should stay.
No, it's okay. Are you going to beat the rain?
Yeah, I go through the woods. Let's find some walk.
Careful, it's blowing up out there.
Yeah. Sometimes they are right with it.
It's very dark out there.
I have what? I need fun.
Good night there.
Good night.
What is it?
My daughter is pregnant!
that attacks you?
Yes!
She pointed them out just before you got back. I thought it was strange. Did you tell her I used a styrofoam log?
I didn't think that advisable. I did tell her though that we've been, you've been giving me karate lessons. We've been fighting each other all around the house. Closer you stay to the truth, the better off you are.
I finished Act 1.
Well, great. Your evening was obviously spent better than mine then.
I decided to end it with Julian calling the doctor.
How can I go on without you? Really?
Well, he wants the doctor to think he's upset, doesn't he?
Well, your dialogue may be a bit Tin Pan Alley, but your timing's perfect. I've got Act 2 ready to go.
Terrific.
Well, at least I think I do.
Okay.
There's two little bits of business that I'm not quite sure about. So we'll act them out, and if they do work, then I'll pass the whole thing to you scene by scene. It's full of surprises.
I can't wait to hear him.
Could you just go and check the upstairs windows though? It seems like we're getting everything from Hurricane Alice to Zelda here.
All windows closed.
Oh, terrific.
So, what are the bits of business?
Okay, so they're in the final scene, back to back as it were. Willard has spilled the beans, and our Connecticut version of Inspector Hubbard has come to beard Julian in his den. Julian, quite berserk, grabs his pistol and shoots the inspector in the left arm. But he's only got one bullet. So, he's now trying to get to the wall to get one of his weapons to finish off the job. Okay, so, question 1. Can a one-armed inspector, in otherwise good physical condition, stop a two-armed middle-aged playwright from reaching the wall? The answer had better be no. So, you Hubbard, me Julian.
Okay, left arm out of commission.
That's it. Right, ready? Well, you gotta do harder than that.
I thought it looked convincing.
Not even to a theatre crowd. Right, let's try again.
Okay.
Maybe I should be Hubbard.
I didn't want to rip your shirt.
Cliff, dear, we are about to make ourselves rich and famous. Let's not worry about a 5-year-old shirt, okay?
Can't we just let the actors and the director figure it out?
That's not how professional playwrights operate, dum-dum. Professional playwrights don't hand over a script unless they know that everything in there is playable and doable. Now, let's show them why Brule and Anderson is going to go down in theatrical history.
Right.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Come on! Voila! It works!
God, it's your shirt. And mine, Jesus. Oh, I scratched your neck.
Oh, I'll survive. Okay. The second bit, straight after, nowhere near as strenuous and it's a lot shorter.
I'm glad of that.
Okay, so this time, you Julian, me Hubbard.
Okay.
Okay. Go up and grab the sword. Nah, it doesn't look natural. Try another way.
I don't like this.
Okay, well go back to the first way you had it. Okay, yeah, that works. Put it down on the carpet.
Okay.
Stand very still. We have some goodbyes to say. DeathTrap is over. This is now theatre verite. It's the gun from Gunpoint. Not loaded with blanks this time though, as the good old Lyceum. Real bullets, courtesy of the Messrs. Remington. I loaded it last night while you were asleep. I really don't want that play to be written. Not that anything can be proved, but too much can be talked about, and I'm too old and yes, too uptight to Join the Washington secretaries and the ex-lovers of the ex-presidents and the happy hookers and the happily hooked in the National Bad Taste exhibition. And I couldn't think of another way to stop you setting me up in a centrally controlled booth. So I had Porter check you out last night. He had found some blots on your resume, the ones that you carefully told us about. And he said to me, we discussed it this evening, that they justified the sense of unease I'd been having about you. So I came home to give you your notice. You became abusive and violent, and Madame Tendorp's dream for vision from 3 weeks ago came to pass. But luckily, I have access to this pistol that I have a license for and the right to use in self-defense. If you hadn't succumbed to a case of thrilleritis malignus so acute it will go down in the record books, who knows? We could have been the team of Brule and Anderson. As it is, we will be only Brule. I'm out of dialogue. You'll go.
What do you want me to say? I'm not going to beg.
Well, you could say you're going to go off and be a steam fitter or something.
Would you even believe me?
No.
I'm hoping you'll take pity on a pretty face.
You're making this so hard. But it's better than the vegetable patch, isn't it? Goodbye, Clifford!
Goodbye, Sydney!
Shit!
See, I figured just a click would be a little too anticlimactic, so I loaded it with blanks. So I can save the real bullets for this one. Sit down, dum-dum! Sit down! Peripetia, reversal, it's one of the first things you taught us at the seminar. A very important element of all drama. You put that down. Thank you. So, I had this problem. A terrific first act for a brilliant show, and absolutely nothing for the second act. Infuriating, considering I'm sharing bed and board with the old master plotter himself, author of The Murder Game, and of In for the Kill, which I do consider to be an even more elegant construction.
Yeah, thanks. That makes two of us.
At the moment, yes. Be my guest.
You mean put them on?
Yes, that's what I mean.
So, what are you going to do?
Continue gloating? Through the back of the chair. Don't play stupid. Through the back. So, there I am with my problem. Sydney won't cooperate. And this I knew from square one. Sydney uses, 3 kinds of deodorant, 4 flavors of mouthwash. Not for him, the stench of scandal. So is there maybe a way that I can harness that 17-jewel brain of his and get it to work for me, all unwittingly? So I begin writing Act 1. And every single time I get up from this desk, I inconspicuously lock it. So inconspicuously, in fact, that for a week and a half straight, smart Sydney doesn't notice. But dull old Porter comes in and notices, thank God, and spares me the embarrassment of having to get heavy-handed and leave a page lying around or something.
You are a shit, you know that?
Would you like to say that into the microphone? So, here we are. Brule and Anderson. I write. Sydney thinks. I don't sleep much. Last night, for instance, I could barely get a wink what with all the tiptoeing going on down here. I'll make it up next week. Thank you for Act 2, really. No Inspector Hubbard, though. Julian's lawyer is the 5th character. Scene 1. Julian discovers that Willard is writing the real DeathTrap based on Doris's murder. He pretends he'll cooperate, but asks Peter Pilgrim or whatever to check in on Willard, knowing full well that there are false and unfair charges to be found. Scene 2. Julian gets Willard to reenact bits of the play, making it look like murder in self-defense. That's beautiful, Sydney! Everything we just did, it'll play like a dream, and I never would have thought of it myself. I really am your dad. But then Julian shoots Willard, who's basically just this poor, innocent kid that Julian led astray.
Oh, you bastard.
In the very next moment, Peter Pilgrim and Inga Van Kronk burst in. She's called him because she's been getting weird vibes all night or something. They met at Doris's funeral. Willard lives just long enough to tell the truth about him, and Julian, and Doris's murder, and then Julian shoots himself. Curtains.
That's it? No scene 3?
About what? I mean, they're both dead. The play's over.
It seems sort of a bit unfinished, really. I'd be happy to think some more.
I bet you would. No worries. I'll do just fine filling in the holes. So now, I'm going to pack and call a cab. I'm taking any money I can find. When the cab is at the door, I'll give you the key. You'll tell people that you gave me my notice, and I accepted it with grace and charm. If you tell anyone that I took anything, or give me a hard time in any way, shape, or form, literally ever, you will be opening up a very messy can of peas. Ah, look at that. A little bit of Angel Street suspense to keep you company. Maybe you'll find some roomies upstairs. See you anon.
Clifford! Those were Houdini's handcuffs!
No! You!
Hang in there, Connecticut Light and Power. How'd it go? Jesus, come on. Police Department! Yes, my name is Brule. I live in Rabbit Hill Road. Yes, I've just killed my secretary. Well, he was coming at me with a sword. Well, you're not gonna believe this bit. You're gonna think that I'm drunk, but I'm telling you I'm stone cold sober. I shot him with a medieval crossbow. Well, it was the only thing I had to hand. Yeah, I assure you it isn't. Come on out yourself then, but you have to bring some flashlights. Yeah, Brule. B-R-U-H-L, Sydney. Oh, you know. Oh, yes, good. Yeah, his name was Clifford.
They killed Mrs. Brew.
What? She died of a heart attack.
They make it to happen. Pain she feels is that she sees Brew kill boy.
Now hold on a second.
You be quiet! Brew shows her play from boy. Good play. Boy comes. Brew kills tight around the neck to take play. She helps carry him out. Pain brings me, but now I am gone. And boy is from grave, comes with log. No, please, I try to stop. She dies.
A fake murder to bring about a real one? Are you sure that's what happened? I thought it was strange. The boy stepping in on such short notice.
Was no play.
There wasn't?
But boy writes all they have done. Brew discovers.
I saw the boy locking his drawer.
Brew is afraid. Play will bring shame.
A play about them killing Myra? I'll bet he was afraid.
Pretends to help, but tricks boy to take sword for play. Shoots with gun, but is no bullet. Boy has tricked him to make more of play. Chains him will go, but chains come apart.
Oh, the Houdini set.
Birds play,
The ashes in the fireplace.
calls police.
Wait, and while he's speaking?
Boy pulls arrow from chest and attacks. Just as I saw 4 weeks ago.
My God, what a story! I mean, it's better than the murder game.
You are thinking could be played?
It has the feel of one. All the action takes place in this one room. 5 characters.
DeathTrap.
Say, that's a catchy title. I couldn't write Frankfurt. But maybe I could write DeathTrap.
Yeah, I see the theater. Inside, much applause. Outside, long line of ticket buyers shivering in the cold.
Goodness, that's encouraging.
But it's my idea.
Your idea? How can you say that? It was Sydney's idea and the boys. They lived it.
If I not tell, you not know.
That's true. I can't deny that. And you supplied me with a title which I may or may not use.
We share the money. Half and half.
Are you serious? I'm gonna go home and work on this nights and weekends for months. Probably even give up my vacation. All you did was come in and touch the furniture for 2 minutes. If you think that I'm gonna...
If you not share money, I tell about telephonings. Telephonings? You speak in high voice through handkerchief. Say the dirty words to all your friends.